Hi, I'm Mrs. Sanders, and I welcome you back to part two when we are comparing a rumor mill to a virus using the eyes of the NetLogo software. And we are looking at the NetLogo software to see what is it, what are some things that we can try through it, and what did we learn through it. So on part one, I talked about the rumor mill, and this is part two, talking about the virus. And I wanted to see how close the rumor mill compares to the virus. I believe that rumors are just like viruses. So there's my thesis. And investigating how much truth there is to what I believe. This particular model displays 150 as the population, and 10 of those 150 are infected with the virus. The transmission and the continuation are influenced by what the seasons are and the requirements that are needed for a continuation of the virus. So the close proximity would be one of those things that would be needed, contact. So we have three different states that you will see if I push setup, you'll see that we have two located here. And so you have green, which means healthy, red, which means they are sick and they are infected with the virus. And then you'll see pretty soon with some offspring that will have gray, which means they are healthy and immune. So you're going to see how this works out. So first I want to show you how NetLogo has set it up. So we have the infectiousness of people are at 65%. We have the chance of recovery. They have a 75% chance of recovery if they get sick. And the duration of this will last 20 weeks. So the duration of this virus could be 20 weeks long, which means they could actually pass it on for 20 weeks. So when you look down here, 6.7 or 10 people of the 150 are infected. Right now we have 0% immune, and we haven't started, so we don't have any years that are included here. And so you're going to see, this is going to be really important to watch as we go. But we want to see how quickly an outbreak actually might occur and see if people may die of infection or if they just die of old age when the population dips below the environment's carrying capacity. So we're going to see that here in just a little bit. And the healthy people may produce healthy, but those are susceptible to the offspring as well, even though if you have the virus, of course, you can carry it on to your child and the offspring. So we wanted to see how that works. Let's look at the ticks up here. So each tick that you see will be 1 week. So hopefully that explains a little bit. But we see that every healthy individual has a 1% chance to reproduce. All right. So that's how this works. Now, I want to show it with how NetLogo has set it up. And we're going to look at not only this screen, but we also want to look over here and showing the weeks and the population of the people, seeing how the population growing and how many weeks of the virus affects the population growth. So we'll take a look at that once I've got it set up. And you see we have 10 around, we have 150 green people, and we will push go and watch how this goes. So remember, we have 90 weeks so far, but I'm going to stop it right there because now you see the gray, which means those are the healthy and immune. Do you see that we have less green going on? So we have less very healthy people. We have more that are healthy and immune, which can be a good thing. And then we have these sick people, but look how many sick people, the 10 completely exploded, right? And when you look over here, our population growth has gone to 292. It looks like our red, so our sick people, have increased to 105 people, but then it's decreased a little bit, maybe because either they have passed away, we believe, but they've also had the healthy and immune offspring going up to 156 out of that 330, so about half of them. But let's keep going. So we have 3.5 years. And let's keep going and seeing what happens as the simulation goes. So what you're going to see is a turn of events as we go. We have more immune and healthy. We have less healthy, and we have less sick at the same time. And our population seems to be growing now because we have healthy and immune people. So I think my sixth graders would really get a lot out of this and seeing if you are immune and you are healthy, what that can do for you. Let's just keep going as we go. And you're going to see more and more of the gray and more of the green. And it starts to continue. I'm going to stop right here. Watch the screen go up and down, up and down. So you can see how the healthy fluctuates. The sick also fluctuates. They're just fluctuating, but this population is staying at a fairly level rate. And I wanted to point that out because I want to show you what it wanted me to try is to take the infectiousness and I want to move that up. They said to extend it. And I want to extend the chance of recovery. Actually, I want to lower the chance of recovery. So we're going to do that. Okay. And I want the duration to be longer. So the question is, I would ask my kids, what do you think might happen if this were a constructivist? What do you think might happen if we extend the infectiousness rate and we extend the duration and we lower the chance of recovery? What would happen? And they would write their hypothesis and then we would push set up. And so what you see is the amount of lower. Here we go. We still have 150 people and we still have 10 infected. Those are the constants. Those things will not change. So that should look like the same screen as you had before. And so as I go, look at this stuff right there. Oh, yeah, okay. So we have 2 years have gone by. In 2 years' time, over half of the population are infected. Okay. Look at how our population goes just high and then wow, look at that go down. And that is because you have a longer time of catching the virus. There are more people infected with it at the time. Okay, the rate of infection is higher, and the chance of recovery is lower. And so I would then probably stop and ask my students which one of the constants are going to be the biggest problem. Is it the chance of recovery? Is it the percentage of infectionness, or is it the duration? Which do you think? And so I think that'd be interesting to hear what their answers would be on that. Let's continue to go. And what you see, what I noticed, let's look at the screen down here. If you can look here, you see that the population rate never gets any higher. And I went for 7 years and then I went for 22 and the population rate never got higher, which tells us, almost like the bubonic plague, how it lowered the population almost immediately, and it took so long. In fact, I tried it out, and it took over 66 years for the population to come back up at a normal rate, but it wasn't even as normal as it was in the beginning. So it was really interesting. So I wanted to thank you because this was a pretty cool lesson plan that you had for us here. But those are some things that I got out of this lesson. I think my 6th graders would really benefit from NetLogo and what it has to offer. I would probably start out with a constructionist view and have them play with it for a few minutes and let them look at it and see what they can figure out. And then I would take them to the info button, and I would probably use the wolves and the sheep first for predator and prey in a lesson, and then we'd move on and use it for this later on in the year for diseases. But I would have them in the constructivist view, then look at the info and see if they can figure it out for themselves first. And then my tier 3, I would probably be beside them and guide them a little closer just to make sure they're getting something out of a lesson and not just left to themselves to come up with what to do, because they don't have the mindset that they need. I'm going to use that mindset where they don't have the growth mindset that they need in order to work independently. Many times, and they don't have the academic level sometimes to read what they need to understand and comprehend. So thank you very much for giving me the chance to look at this. I've never used NetLogo before. This was my first time, and it was a blast. And I know you said text and photo, and I don't have screen share. I tried the screen share, and because this is due to my laptop limits, I wasn't able to use the screen share as much. So I'm hoping this will work. If not, I can type this out for you. You have a wonderful day. Thank you again.